Welcome to Empowering Plans, a show dedicated to identifying waste and undue expense in the health benefits industry, discovering ways to maximize benefits while minimizing costs, and empowering employers, administrators, and consultants to emphasize, once again, the benefit in benefit plan. Today's episode is brought to you by the Phia Group, empowering plans since 1999. Now here are your hosts, the Phia Group's own CEO, Adam Russo, and Senior Vice President and General Counsel, Ron Peck.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Empowering Plans with the Phia Group. I am your host, not co-host. I'm your host today, Adam Russo, CEO and co-founder of this amazing company, the Phia Group. Ron is not here. Brady's not here. They just left me alone. But you know what? I don't mind it. I don't mind being by myself because the guest I have today is better than both of them. Everything we've seen so far in the past 10 years has proven that. Anytime she talks on a webinar, numbers go up. Every time we show a picture on LinkedIn, viewership goes up. I don't know what it is about you, Jen, but Jen McCormick is my guest today, and I want to make sure we welcome her. Hello, Jen.
Thank you. It's an honor to be here today.
Honor?
It is.
Really?
I never get invited to be part of the podcast, so I was starting to feel a little left out.
Well, for those folks out there listening right now, the last one we did with Pat the Man Santos, broke records. I don't know if it's Pat continuously having his friends go on there and listen to it. I'm not sure. But even at our Phia forum this week, everyone was talking about Pat Santos. They're like, oh, Pat, he was so great on that podcast. Oh, you should do more stuff with him. So, Pat, I just want you to be recognized today, our fine, esteemed producer. The podcast that we did with you, The Faces of Phia, I don't even know what episode that was, but that particular podcast, one of the highest viewerships we've ever had since we started doing this.
Glad I'm some form of entertaining.
Well, that's good. See that? This podcast, though, is going to be a little different than most. So typically we have two different types of podcasts, right? We have one, which is your normal podcast talking about current issues. I'll sit here, yell at Brady. Maybe I'll yell at Ron a little bit. And then the second type are the Faces of Phia, where we have been interviewing various people that work at the company who've been here, some of them 5 years, 10 years, 15 years. Some are really good. Some are just okay. It depends on the situation, right? Everyone's personality is different. But this one is a new type of podcast. You know, what's the name? What's the perfect name? I'm not even sure. I think what we'll do is we'll have people, feel free to text us, email us, contact us. But it's basically stories from our health plan. Our Phia Group self-funded employee benefit plan has won awards. It's the most innovative plan in the country. We've been told that. We actually have an award for that. What we try to do, basically, as you all know, is to get our employees and their dependents to actually become consumers of healthcare. So the first person that we're interviewing is Jen McCormick, who is actually are you a senior VP now?
I am.
Is it because you turned 30 or how'd that happen?
Yes, that was my 30th birthday present from Phia.
Yeah, it's not the nicest thing to do. I mean, I hope you got a raise out of that at least. Was there no raise, just a different title?
Just a different title.
So we didn't give you any more money and then made you feel older.
That's right.
That's not really what our intention was, to be honest with you. But it's okay. So Jen is the first person that we're having on this podcast that we're interviewing to talk about her own personal experience and how the Phia employee benefit plan, our health plan, helped you. And basically what you saw, what you learned from our health plan that allowed you to realize, not only can I save some money for myself, maybe I can get something out of this, but actually can save money for the Phia self-funded plan itself.
Yeah, so I'd like to say that I'm one of the pioneers when it comes to putting these incentives for our plan in place. So in my senior experience, one of the things that I've had experience dealing with is having babies. And
Wait. Can you repeat that? What do you mean? You have experience in having babies? I mean, you have two.
That's right.
All right.
So the experience...
it's not like you're, this is the, what's that TV show on Hulu?
The Main's Tale?
Yeah, something like that. Like where their job is just to have kids. Like let's be honest.
Okay, that is clearly not my job.
Okay, so I want to make sure we got this straight. You mean, all right, you have two kids, right? So you have experience having a child and going through the whole process.
Right. So by the process, I mean by you need to make sure that you have a doctor and there are a lot of appointments that you need to go to. You need to make sure that it's going to be a positive experience for you. It is a medical condition. And the first time, I was naive to the experience of what to expect, where to go.
Even though you run our entire plan document division. You want to stay in our Phia plan docs, all of our clients' plan docs. You could redline a plan doc in your sleep.
The experience when it comes to yourself becomes an emotional experience, and sometimes you completely forget about all of those issues that you might know about and be able to teach and advise other people about when it comes to you. It changes.
So folks, listen to that. the person who's probably better equipped, knows more about self-funding, designing a health plan than anyone else in this country. That's Jen McCormick. She's even saying that even though she writes the plan, wrote our plan, all the innovative language to make sure it's compliant, etc., all that stuff, she did all that. But once she found out she was pregnant, once she had to go through the process, all those personal experiences, all that feelings, that emotion, you sort of forgot about some of the opportunities out there.
I was naive. That's the best way to explain it.
I wouldn't say naive.
In the sense that I went to, unbeknownst to me, one of the more expensive hospitals in the city of Boston. I was not aware, I was naive to the fact that where I was going, even in this great city of Boston, even with all these different options, that my experience could be just as great somewhere else.
So how did you make that initial decision to go to that really expensive hospital? How'd that happen?
It was based on my doctor.
So your doctor said?
My OB, that's where she delivered. That was the only choice for me. And I had been going there for a number of years and hadn't needed this service in the past. So I needed to make a decision about, am I going to look for another OB, or is the hospital where she delivers, where she has privileges, good enough?
So basically, your doctor said, this is where we're going to have the baby, and that was it.
That's where she had her privileges.
She didn't say to you, oh, you have a bunch of options.
Nope.
This one might be more expensive. There might be some cheaper options, maybe even higher quality places, maybe places that don't charge $50 to valet your car every day.
Right. And that's not something that you necessarily think about, because everyone needs to go to the doctor annually for their visits.
Right.
And maybe you're not at that point in your life where you're excited or even thinking about what's next with having a family.
Right.
So if you've been going and you've created that relationship with that doctor for a number of years, that's a hard switch to make. So there needs to be some sort of incentive that it's going to encourage you to at least stop and take emotion out of it and look to maybe see if there would be a better option that'd be you and for your future family.
So you feel like you're the pioneer that got Phia thinking about what can we do to get people to start thinking differently and have some incentives to maybe change their behavior when it comes to healthcare.
That's right. We actually had the opportunity to take a look at the data and really see where the costs were and if there was a distinction, even from a hospital that's just literally across the street. The same parking garage. You can park in the same parking garage, and there can be tens of thousands of dollars of difference between the cost of delivering a child. So for me, after that first experience, I looked at it and I realized, yes, this is a beautiful hospital. It is great. They have these really great restaurants in the lobby. I can get my Starbucks. I am all set.
Oh, that's Starbucks.
Sold, right? That's all that it takes. But after a couple of years, we realized that that was a problem to make decisions based on where the Starbucks is located. And maybe we should actually be looking at the details and see if there is an opportunity where we can encourage people to make a decision that's, based on emotion, but also based on something that's going to encourage them to look at it and make a choice that's financially sound for them and could maybe benefit us as well. So we did.
Really good point, Jen. I'm happy that Starbucks is not as important anymore and that your baby's well-being was actually a little bit more important than the Starbucks. That's good to know. So, folks, people are probably asking, so what is this? What did you guys do? Everyone, well, not everyone. I don't want to say everyone, but people refer to me as the diaper man, I guess. Every time we speak at a conference, every time I speak at a conference, I love to bring up our diapers and wipes program here at Phia. Now, what does that mean? How'd that happen? Folks, and I'm going to use Pat to answer the questions because typically I pick someone in the audience, but we don't have an audience. My audience is you, Jen, and Mr. Santos. So a couple of years back, Ron Peck, everyone knows our senior executive VP. Is that what he is
Executive,
now?
yep.
Executive. So we noticed a bunch of people were getting married. And also I was starting now to have family. And I noticed that, it's a little crazy around the home. And Pat, what typically do you think happens the year after someone gets married?
Probably thoughts about having a family.
Babies. Very good. So one thing that happens is babies are born, right? And that's like, me and Ron were like, wait a second. We're going to have a lot of babies next year, potentially. That could be really expensive for our self-funded plan. What's the second thing that happens typically a year after people get married? Not a trick question.
Housing, right?
Pat is such a nice guy. He's like, housing, babies. Babies is right. Divorce, Pat. Divorce. 50% of marriages end in divorce. And the third, the double whammy, is to have a baby and a divorce. That's really bad, right?
It's a big year.
So we realized that people, when they get married, they have babies. So what I knew at that point in time was that we had diapers everywhere. There's diapers in my car. There's diapers in every single room in the house had diapers. And every single room in the house had baby wipes everywhere. I still have baby wipes in my truck right now. So Ron and I said, what hospital do people go to? So guess what baby, we didn't know at the time, the first claim we looked at, let's call it child number 1 or baby A. Guess whose baby's claims they were?
Guess.
I
Mine.
can't imagine. Jen McCormick's. And when we saw how much money we were paying to deliver that same kid at one hospital where she went, and then compared it to what the other in-network hospitals that are just as good, maybe even higher quality, easier to get to, no valet parking, free parking, bigger rooms, etc., we were like, this is insane. The price range was anywhere from $8,000 to $50,000 to have the same baby delivered. It was crazy. So we said, what can we do? Can we incentivize our employees by basically saying to them, we can't force you to go to a lower cost, high quality facility.
It's volunteer.
Right? It's a volunteer program. But how can I entice you? How can I entice someone to do it? So we said, that's it. Free diapers, free wipes for 1 year.
Right. So the important part of that, too, is the educational piece and the awareness. So people don't necessarily know. Like I said, I didn't necessarily know the difference. I didn't understand, even with the same parking garage, that there could be such a drastic difference. So having that conversation about it and even knowing and looking into it, that's what I did. I made that conscious decision that I was going to change my doctor. I changed my provider who is providing the service and the facility as a result.
So the facility that you chose the second time, right? Knowing that now you had an opportunity to have free diapers and wipes, how much cheaper was that facility?
Over $20,000.
I can tell you right now, it was $27,000 difference. $27,000. Now, have you noticed that baby number 2 is worth less? Is your second child
He cries more.
$27,000 less valuable than your first gen?
Of course not.
No, right? How was your experience at Hospital 2 versus Hospital 1?
Identical, to be honest.
So the same pain.
Same pain.
Same pain, same swearing, same 3 days, but the same beautiful baby born, correct?
Identical. Same.
Right? Perfect. So why did you make that switch?
So I did it because it was important to the plan, because I realized that me saving this money means that it's going to have a larger impact on our pool of employees and their dependents. And it was important to me to make a decision that I knew that I could make that impact, and it was important to me, and I knew that the care was going to be identical.
So because you're a senior person now, it was important to set an example that if I could do it, anyone else, all the other 150 to 200 people here at Phia could have the same exact experience as me.
I'm the example that it doesn't matter. You can make a decision that is important to you, and the impact and the result, it doesn't matter where you go as long as you're making the choice for you.
So let's talk about that impact then. All right, so what happened? So the baby's born, you go home, and what? The diapers and wipes just showed up? How'd this whole thing happen?
Yes, that's a nice perk, right? To have the opportunity, because diapers and wipes are expensive, and you need a ton, turns out. So the way that we have our program set up here is that once you have the child, you alert the HR director and you let her know that that is something that has happened and I'd like to get set up and enrolled in this program. So every month I get an email that says, congratulations on your baby boy. Here is a gift card for you to use to purchase diapers and wipes. And every month that's what I use to purchase diapers and wipes.
So the gift card is a virtual card
It's an email.
It's an email. So then you just take that card and go to wherever, online, or you go to Target or whatever store you need to go to, and you can just buy as many diapers and wipes as you want.
That's right.
How much money is it a month?
It's $300 a month.
So, folks, listen to this. $300 a month times 12 is $3,600. We still saved almost $25,000 for the plan. Every single baby born, and we've already had this happen 12 times here at Phia, every single time this happens and someone takes advantage of this program, we're saving approximately $20,000. That's huge. And that's just our little company. What if a larger employer did this? But the problem that we see in this country and the problem that we just see in this industry is, unlike Jen with her second experience of having a child, most people choose their hospital how? How do they decide what doctor to go to? How do they decide where to have their child? What do you think?
It's the way they've always done it.
Like, so your friends, when they just said, oh, I'm going to have my baby here, like, did they research
So-
it? Did they go online? Did they compare? Like, the way Pat would compare TVs before he buys one. Do they do that? Do they price shop? Do they look at reviews and testimonials and et cetera to decide where they want to have their treatment?
I think it's word of mouth is part of it. Where have your friends had a good experience? Because people's experiences can vary. But a lot of it is, I've been seeing this doctor since I was a teenager. Why would I go somewhere else?
Right. So whatever that doctor tells you to do, you're just going to follow along.
Right. So I don't think that people are educated enough to realize that there is such a vast difference, that it really does matter, because they just assume, why would it be any different for me than it is for you if the hospitals are on the same block?
Folks, to tell you something that to me is crazy, like to me this seems like a pretty, obvious thing. It doesn't seem that innovative. It was like, all right, we knew that people could have kids, and we looked at the price to deliver a child, and we were blown away by the fact that there was a $40,000 differential depending on which hospital you went to, and that it wasn't as if the quality of a $40,000 hospital was better than the quality of a $10,000 hospital. In fact, oftentimes, it was the opposite. The $10,000 hospital had a higher quality rating than the one that might be $30,000 or $40,000. So we said to ourselves, it seemed like a pretty easy decision, right? Pretty basic thing. The Boston Globe did a story on this and called it innovative. To me, the fact that this is innovation when it comes to healthcare is almost sad. But we had a huge story about it, and now it is actually something that we utilize when we're trying to recruit new employees or retain employees. This goes a long way in that effort, especially when it comes to goodwill with your employees.
Right. It is a benefit that they realize it is something that's important to them and to their family and to their baby. That makes a big impact because diapers and wipes is an added expense on top of having a child in child care. So this is something that is really helpful for our employees, and one of the reasons why they want to be part of our plan. They want to be part of our benefits because they realize the value of this.
It was funny. I think it was yesterday we were having lunch, myself, Ron, and a couple other people. We started looking around. We go, man, I got a feeling 2020 is going to have another bad year. When I say bad year, I mean a lot of kids being born next year, it seems, because people tend to take a year off in between kids. I think it's long enough time off where they forget how crazy it was.
I actually think it's going to be another year because that's when the Massachusetts paid family leave is going to go into effect. So people are going to think, I'm going to wait an extra year because now I'm going to get this diapers and wipes program, but maybe there's going to be a paid leave that Massachusetts is going to require.
Time out, Jen. What you just said right there sounds smart. Right, Pat? Sounds smart.
Smart.
You think that Pat, when he decides to settle down and have kids, he's going to say, oh, wait a second. Honey, no. Let's not try to have a baby tonight. No. Turn that Marvin Gaye off. Put those candles away. Take that romantic music off the radio. No. Let's wait another year because then in 2020,
I think people might be, it's actually 2021, but I think people might be counting on their fingers, how 10 months away, when can I start?
I really don't think anyone is doing that. I think they'll be happy when they find out about it, but you actually think people are going to say, let's wait another year. Or let's wait another 6 months because this law is going to come into effect?
Let's do a tally. Let's see what happens from this year versus next year versus 2021. Hopefully
Fine.
I'm wrong. Maybe
Folks,
I'm wrong.
If you agree with Jen, please let us know. If you agree with me, and I know most of you do, please let us know as well. Jen, anything else you want to share with us? Because I think that was a great story, and I'm happy that your first child's claims were so crazy, so big, so ridiculous that it caused Ron and myself to sit down and say, all right, what can we do about this problem going forward?
No, I think the only thing to say is that if this is something that you are interested in and want to learn more about, education and awareness is key. Start to ask those questions. If you are looking at your population and you realize maybe this is going to be the phase we're getting to the marriage point and maybe what comes next is baby, start to ask those questions and see if this would even be a benefit that your employees would be interested in taking advantage of.
And if you want to know more information about how we can help you with this plan, feel free to contact Jen or even go on our website, phiagroup.com. That's where you go. On behalf of Pat Santos, Jen McCormick, our amazing guest, and myself, your host for today, Adam Russo, thank you so much for empowering your plans with the Phia Group. Have a great day.